Hello, my name is Paul Bevan from Siemens Digital Industry Software, and in this short demonstration we're going to take a look at some of the enhancements to surface design and surface analysis in the December 2022 release of NX. Currently in the graphics window you can see I have a part which comprises of an imported scan of an automotive body panel that's been brought in as a convergent body, and a number of surfaces that I'm going to use to reverse engineer this body panel. So I'm going to start by activating the Shape Studio application, and it's inside here that we'll see our first enhancement. If I either select a sheet body from the Part Navigator or directly within the graphics window, I'm able to invoke the Xform command directly. This provides a more streamlined and interactive approach to surface editing. And this leads me in nicely to the next enhancement. If we look to make an edit to the surface symmetrically around this datum plane, we can now use the advanced method of proportional to make subtle changes to the surface itself, something that's been included in this latest release of NX. Now that I've made the change to that surface, let's quickly analyze the surface continuity. So I'll select the three surfaces and then analyze the edge pairs. Notice as I hover over the edge pair itself, I get a dynamic display of the continuity. And as you can see from the zero values reported, we have excellent continuity between these two surfaces. However, when we analyze the edge pairs between the surface I've just Xformed and the bridge surface, you'll notice that we have some discrepancy both on tangency and curvature. Now, one reason for this is that the Xform was generated after the bridge surface. However, if we reorder the features and reanalyze the continuity, notice now that my tangent continuity is 0, which means it is tangent continuous across that edge. If we look at the bridge surface, it was created with tangent continuity, and now we'll edit it to add curvature continuity. And now when we go back into the analysis tool, you'll notice that both curvature and tangency and position are all set to 0. So we have the continuity that we want between those two surfaces. Let's move on to take a look at Studio Surface and see what enhancement we've made there. Here I'm going to construct a surface through these primary curves, and then I'm going to use a couple of cross curves to complete the surface. This one first of all, and then we'll add a second one. And you'll notice that we get an alert. Now, we would have had an alert in previous releases of NX telling me that the curves don't intersect within tolerance to generate the surface. However, in this latest release of NX, it gives more of an explanation. Here you can see it's telling me that section curve 1 and guide curve 2 do not intersect within tolerance. So this removes any potential ambiguity, and also is useful if the gap between specific curves is very, very small. Here you can see it's quite visual, but there are times when the gap may be more tricky to see, and closer inspection or the use of other analysis tools might be needed to ascertain the issue. Now let's take a look at bridge curve and the enhancement to that. In previous releases of NX, if I created a bridge curve where the start end had curvature continuity, for example, NX would apply the same pole structure to the opposite end, even if I hadn't stated that it needed to be curvature continuous. This means that the curves themselves were heavier than they needed to be. Now, in this latest release of NX, we've removed that issue. So now when you create a bridge curve with one end that's curvature connected, it only applies the pole structure to that one end. Gives you more flexibility and better control, and makes the curve more lightweight. The final enhancement in advanced shape design takes us back to another analysis type. In this case, we're going to take a look at the deviation gauge. As I said earlier, we have a scanned body and some surface data, and I want to check the deviation between the scan and the surfaces I've created. I'm going to refine the sample resolution, and now I'm going to select specific labels on the surface to get my deviation values. And you notice as I rotate the model, they disappear, but then if I select Show Obstructed, notice how I can now see the values dependent on the angle that I'm viewing from. We'll add some more labels. Again, we can see them appear and disappear when I toggle the Show Obstructed option. So that's it for the enhancements to advanced shape design. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention.